No, really. I mean it. There really is a guest coming. Really. But I wanted to talk about the pesky self-identity. It's a big topic. The topic is and a little bit more about the difference between before awakening and after awakening. And aside from there being no time, no past, no future, there's no angst or anxiety about doing the next thing. Life still moves along as it has. But the doer and the doer of the next thing, as it relates to words in the thought stream, is gone. And was gone in a flash. A very simple example of the doer not existing would be the statement, I am doing a podcast. Well, if you really analyze, I am doing a podcast, it sounds kind of funny, first of all. Because what is doing a podcast? What is an I am doing a podcast? The doer portion in the mind simply does not exist. But in order for me to describe and communicate where language is going to meet another mind, or to meet a mind down the middle, that communication has to be shared. So there has to be shared meaning. So there can be a unity of sense. in the center point of I, the imaginary center point of I am doing this, I am walking, I am fire, I am water. All of that disappears. All of that is, that was just yet another phase. And really, what's left, and the simplest way to put it, is the awareness of being. The awareness of being alive, the awareness of senses. For some, maybe it's the awareness of destiny. But awakening in and of itself, at least in the early phases, is a mess. Generally, is a mess. There's a point where it's thought of that the doer is automated, is automatically programmed. And that when the doer is removed, the individual is absolutely bamboozled, because it was like, well, if I wasn't doing that, who was? It's one of the great conundrums of awakening. Is that even though your entire life you felt as if you were living, breathing, doing all of it, you weren't actually doing any of it. And that the doer and the self-identity and the thought stream is a complete and total fabrication. Completely imaginary. As in all things awakening, there's an adjustment period when the doer is removed. And that is going from next thing to the next thing to the next thing, be it a material object, a material good, a record, or a handheld vacuum. Going from one object to the next, attempting to transcend that object in hopes to fill it and satiate it with meaning and self-identity. Or the individual hopes to satiate desire to transcend the object. And that can hold true for both material goods, hard objects, and imaginary objects, such as gurus, or anything with a name. And the worry associated, or the anxiety associated with the doer and doing the next thing has been completely taken away. Which makes it possible to be in a state of awe, a state of relaxation, a state of peace. It's on all the time. So there's never a point where, well, there's not a point where it's like, okay, I need to set aside 20 minutes for meditation at so and so o'clock. None of that exists. If I'm laying flat on a bed with my eyes shut and somebody were to walk in the room, most likely that individual would make a statement of, or a question of, are you sleeping? Or are you meditating? The act of laying flat would signify and trigger meaning in the other individual that is observing, and would trigger that separate meaning for what's happening. The topic is big, it's
It's a big topic, the topic is big.
Oh, and there's that pesky little timer.
The topic is
15
big.
minutes,
It's a big topic,
which means that the
topic
storage
big.
is
It's
at
a
limit
big
for
topic,
this
the topic is
particular
big.